So I think we played a key role in empowering our stakeholders through our data, right? I think data is a powerful tool in terms of informing interventions and also in terms of basically showing where these attacks are taking place. For example, I'll give an example of, I think it was the Department of Social Development that wanted to conduct social cohesion projects in Durban, or programs in Durban, and they reached out to us to say, okay, this is what we want to do in Durban, but want to ensure that we're targeting the relevant locations where the problem is actually, prominent. So can you give us a list of, areas in the eThekwini municipality that are affected that we can target through our social cohesion projects, right? So I think this is kind of like evidence or an example of organization using evidence-based data in their interventions. And organizations like Lawyers for Human Rights, CONSA, have reached out for our data and statistics to support their advocacy strategies or even calls to government for intervention. Question, an interesting question, but I think the biggest one is political will. I think we've seen a lot of advocacy strategies, advocacy campaigns. We've seen a lot of calls for respecting of migrant rights and programs that are targeted towards that, right? Throughout the years, but I don't think those have led to the prevention or the spread of xenophobia or the mitigating the spread of xenophobia, right? In fact, we've seen that over the years it's become even worse when it's morphed in different ways. So some of the challenges that we've experienced are, for example, I mentioned that we monitor threats to violence, right? It's sometimes difficult to prevent violence because reporting doesn't necessarily mean, or early warning doesn't necessarily mean that intervention will take place or that law enforcement officials will actually prevent the violence from taking place. Another thing is that a lot of people are afraid to report, so there's a lot of under-reporting of incidents. So what we have is just, a snippet of the extent of xenophobia that's taking place in South Africa. You find that a lot of victims fear re-victimization because they live in the communities in which they are attacked. So because of issues of anonymity and confidentiality, a lot of people fear that if I report, maybe that will put my life in danger. Even though Xenowatch has structures in place to ensure that we protect individuals that report to us, doesn't allay those fears. And I think there's a lot of missing information as well when incidents take place, especially when they happen in a large scale. So for example, if there's a large outbreak of xenophobia, you might find that there will be reports that 12 people have died, but to get the exact figures on the nationality of the individuals that passed away could be a challenge as well. Or we get reports of shops being looted in mass scale. To get the exact figures is also a challenge, or also in terms of like quantifying the financial damage can also be a challenge. So sometimes getting those gaps in terms of like information gaps can be a challenge. But because we also continuously update our information, we try and mitigate that by ensuring that once we get the relevant information and it's verified, then we update the website or our database accordingly. Stories that I would that come at the top of my mind is, especially at the community level, is an incident that happened in Jimenez. I think that was in 2019, where we got a tip from one of our partner organizations based there to let us know that there were plans to actually attack or chase away Somali foreign nationals in the area. So fortunately, we had a contact in the crime intelligence unit within the police service, and reached out to them, and they were able to basically act immediately. They knew the perpetrators, they knew that they'd done this before, so they quickly, gave them an early warning. And I think they also worked with government organizations and international organizations within that area to ensure that nothing would happen and to prevent any incident from happening. And I think that was a success because there wasn't any attacks that happened from that. And so that's an example that shows that if there's political will, or there's a willingness to intervene, xenophobia can be stopped or prevented from taking place. So I think people who are willing to support our work could be through ensuring that you could report incidents of xenophobic discrimination that you hear about. You could also help become a verification partner. This can be done at an individual level, or if you're an organization that has a wide network across South Africa, you have a wide reach, you could partner in terms of working with us, whether through information sharing, helping us verify information on the ground. And also I think, people can partner with us through supporting our work, whether through funding the work that we do, engaging with our research to help inform their own work and to help think about these issues. I think those are the things that for now people can get. And also if people have ideas as well in terms of how they can support our work or help improve the work that we're already doing, we're always welcome to those suggestions as well. And directly reach out to us for any collaboration or partnership through our email, which is info@xenowatch.ac.za.